The NFL franchise tag is one of the most misunderstood tools in professional sports. People hear tagged and think it just means a team is keeping a player. But how it actually works and how the salary gets calculated is very specific. At its core, the franchise tag is a one-year contract option that an NFL team can place on one pending unrestricted free agent per offseason. When a player's contract expires, instead of letting him hit the open market, the team can tag him and retain his rights for one more season at a set salary determined by league rules. There are actually three types of tags: the exclusive franchise tag, the non-exclusive franchise tag, and the transition tag. Most of the time when people say franchise tag, they mean the non-exclusive version, so let's start there. Under the non-exclusive franchise tag, the player receives a one-year salary that is calculated as the greater of two numbers. The first possible number is the average of the top 5 cap hits at that player's position over the previous 5 seasons, adjusted to the current salary cap. The second possible number is 120% of the player's previous year's salary. Whichever number is higher becomes the guaranteed one-year salary. That means for elite players, the tag is often extremely expensive. For example, if the top 5 quarterbacks average $50 million per year over the cap-adjusted formula, then a tagged quarterback would receive roughly that amount for one season, fully guaranteed. But if the quarterback made $45 million the previous year, 120% of that would be $54 million. In that case, the team would owe $54 million for the tag year because it's the higher number. Now here's the difference with the exclusive tag. The exclusive franchise tag uses a slightly different calculation. Instead of averaging the top 5 cap numbers from previous seasons, it uses the average of the top 5 salaries at that position for the current year at the time the tag is applied. That usually makes it even more expensive. And with the exclusive tag, the player cannot negotiate with other teams at all. With the non-exclusive tag, the player can negotiate with other teams. However, if he signs an offer sheet elsewhere, his original team has the right to match it. If they choose not to match, the new team must send 2 first-round draft picks as compensation. That's why you rarely see players actually change teams under the franchise tag. The compensation cost is steep. There's also the transition tag, which is cheaper. It's calculated using the average of the top 10 salaries at the position instead of the top 5. The difference is that if another team signs the player to an offer sheet and the original team declines to match, there is no draft pick compensation. One more important wrinkle: you can tag a player multiple years in a row, but it gets progressively more expensive. The second franchise tag must be 120% of the previous tag salary. A third tag jumps to 144% of the second year salary. At that point, it becomes financially prohibitive in most cases. So in simple terms, the franchise tag is a one-year, fully guaranteed contract calculated using either top-of-market positional averages or a 120% salary escalator, whichever is higher. It allows teams to retain elite talent, but it also creates tension because players often prefer long-term security instead of playing on a one-year deal. That's why you often see tagged players and teams negotiating right up until the deadline for a long-term extension. The tag isn't always the final outcome. Sometimes it's leverage.